warnings going out to the Sikh community in the United Kingdom from the British authorities. Oh, yes, if we can just play this video.
इस लिस्ट में सबसे पहला नाम गुरपतवंत सिंह पन्नू का है, जो अमेरिका में छुपा है और गाहे बगाहे आग उगलता है। उसकी सबसे ताजा तस्वीर यूएन हेडक्वार्टर के सामने से आई, जो 5 जुलाई की। अब आपको दिखाते हैं भारत के दुश्मन और 20 खालिस्तानी आतंकियों के चेहरे। अमेरिका में छुपे पन्नू के अलावा जेएस धालीवाल, हरप्रीत सिंह, हारजप सिंह, अमरदीप सिंह पुरेवाल और हिम्मत सिंह का नाम लिस्ट में। ब्रिटेन में छुपे परमजीत सिंह, कुलवंत सिंह कांता, गुरमीत सिंह बागी और दुपिंद्र सिंह के नाम भी लिस्ट में, जिन पर अभी गाज गिरगीता है। पाकिस्तान में बादवार सिंह बब्बर और रणजीत सिंह नीता छुपे। इसी तरह दुबई में जसमीत सिंह हकीमजादा और कनाडा में लखबीर सिंह रोड़े और जतिंदर सिंह ग्रेवाल जैसे खालिस्तानी आतंकी छुपे। सूत्रों के मुताबिक एनआईए, आईबी और राज्य की पुलिस के साथ सुरक्षा एजेंसियों ने एक डॉसियर तैयार किया है, जिसका मकसद ये है कि विदेशों में बैठे खालिस्तानियों पर चुन कर कार्रवाई की जा सके। हाल के दिनों में कुछ खालिस्तानी आतंकी मारे भी गए। इनमें सबसे अहम है हरदीप सिंह निज्जर, जो पन्नू का करीबी है। कनाडा के एक गुरुद्वारे की पार्किंग में उसको गोली मार दी गई। उसकी मौत से पन्नू बौखला गया।
So you would have seen on the video in the blue turban was Avtar there, and this is Indian press reporting about a Indian intelligence hit list of Sikhs living abroad, and then we've obviously now we know about the execution in Canada as well as potential executions in Pakistan and further ones around Europe as well. On the 11th of June, and he died on the 15th of June, and this is the death certificate here. The causes of death are acute myeloid leukemia and pulmonary embolism. That's what the hospital said. And if we move on to the next slide. The potential in regards to the leukemia is that it's been misdiagnosed and it was actually symptoms which relate to poisoning, or the leukemia may have been caused by poisoning. And there are common poisons which can be used to cause the kind of effects. And this is some academic literature on this subject. And those who were around in regards to the Litvinenko incident in London, I was a paralegal on that case before I became a barrister, know that in that case, the first reports were that he was unwell and he was sick, and it only took one of the top experts to find out that he'd been poisoned, who saw a spike in relation to his blood readings, and he only knew about it because he'd worked in regards to poisoning before. We come on to reporting of his death, and the Indian press carried lots of articles in relation to whether Narendra Modi was sending Indian agents abroad to assassinate those who they see as enemies of India. So this information was put forward by Indian press. And there's some quotes here from the Indian press in regards to what the security establishment in India were telling them. All of this took place before we knew about the assassination in Canada. So the assassination in Canada really adds a whole new context to it, and you would have seen by the dates that Avtar's death occurred 3 days before the assassination in British Columbia. This is a post here in relation to those who died around the same time or were killed around the same time. We've got, of course, Avtar in the UK, Hardeep Singh in Pakistan, which was a few years earlier, Harmjit Singh Panwar in Pakistan, which was around within a few weeks of these other killings, and Hardeep Singh Nijjar in Canada, which happened 3 days after Avtar's death. Go to the next slide, please. This Avtar's death comes in the context.
Completely misused the incident to target Avtar specifically. It's like they put a target on his back and said, we're going after you. They had raised the case of Avtar with the British government. So we know they'd raised the issue of the flag incident with the British government and made it into a diplomatic incident. So the British government were aware. And at the same time, Avtar has been run in the media as the culprit, as the ringleader of all of this. Avtar then received phone calls from India, and he repeated exactly the conversation to me. His mother and his sister were harassed, taken into the police custody every day for a few days. And a senior inspector, female officer, had called Avtar on his mobile. And I'll paraphrase, and the recording is available, and we'll share that in due course. We have you, Avtar, you know what you've done. We're on to you. We've got your sister and your mother in custody. You know what we're capable of. I suggest you tell us what we want to know. And what they were referring to was the whereabouts of Amritpal, who was wanted by the Indian authorities at the time. And they were asking Avtar, who's in London, where he was. And Avtar responded to the threat saying, look, you've done plenty of damage to my family. What more can you do? I don't know anything. But that toll on him was huge. So to the date of him being unwell, from March all the way to him going to hospital, I had it confirmed that Avtar did not receive any phone calls from either the Met, West Midlands Police, or any of the intelligence services to say your life may be under threat, you are being inappropriately and incorrectly being targeted. We might need to offer you some protection, or you may want to look at some protection for yourself. At no point were any warnings given to him, which was bizarre. And then I guess what made things even worse was post his death, the suspicious nature of it, and the rapid decline of Avtar to his ultimate demise was raised with the police, West Midlands Police, it was raised with his politicians, and it was raised with the coroner, that this is highly suspicious. The doctors were aware that waves through not only the community in the UK but worldwide. He was a much loved individual. He was very well respected and very much looked up to. He, as Michael mentioned, his family was sort of covered with tragedy. In the very short after his mum and father were married, his father was kidnapped in Punjab, tortured, and then disappeared and killed by the Punjab police in the thousands of fake encounters that were happening in the 90s. The mother was never even given the body back of his father, which was a complete tragedy. She was just told that your husband's gone. Avtar, being 3 years old, and his sister just a few months old, were raised. Other family members were abducted, tortured, and killed. That was his life, that's what he saw. Up to the age of 10, the family continued to be harassed, and the mother sought refuge for her only son by sending him to the UK, where he could be free and continue his education, his life. Avtar, once he came to the United Kingdom, obviously he followed in his father's footsteps around becoming an activist himself. He'd seen the troubles in the Punjab, he knew his history, and he's continued to be active, connected with a lot of the organisations in the UK. And as I said, he was a very friendly face, and was known even more, became more popular when he became the face and a presenter on a popular channel.
This, at the very least, there is suspicion that he died in suspicious circumstances. So an inquest must be opened in this case. There is no other answer to it. And we say that a judge should be appointed to run that inquest so that when it eventually turns into an inquiry to hear evidence in camera, it can do so. And we say it's very important for the Sikh community to know that when there are suspicious deaths in their community, that they will be protected and that a proper investigation will be carried out. I'll answer some questions at the end. I might hand over to some of my other panelists.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I think we'll thank Michael and Church Court Chambers for assisting the family and the community on this.
Avtar was doing quite well initially in hospital. Did he himself then ever express concern in the hours and days before he passed away that he had been poisoned or targeted?
Once Avtar had been admitted to hospital, his next of kin, his friends, close loved ones visited him, and he was under no idea that he had days to live or hours to live at that point. It was a case of, whatever. He didn't understand what was wrong with him, but he understood he was in a hospital and there was many doctors looking at him and they were giving him medication and he was making plans of what he would do. It wasn't really even on the Wednesday where he recorded his last voice message before they were inducing him in a coma. Even at that stage, he told others, "Don't worry, I'll be back in a few hours." And then it was his friends who said, "No, what they're going to do is induce you into a coma and you might be under for a few days." And then he said, "Well, let me record a message for everybody." And that message was for everyone to remain in high spirits. He's in high spirits, for everyone to follow the will of Waheguru, the Creator, and to keep dedicated to the cause, to the community, to the nation. And he basically wished the best for everybody, all humanity. And they was his last words. And again, I think everyone around him still expected him to just come out of that cycle, get his breathing back, oxygen back where it needs to be, and then you take it on to the next steps.
I'll take you back to Narendra Modi coming to power in 2014 and appointing his right-hand man as Ajit Doval, basically the head of Indian intelligence. The next thing you find where Avtar Singh Khanda's name comes up is in November 2015 when Narendra Modi made his first visit to the UK as Prime Minister. He met David Cameron, and I was just Googling specifically, Narendra Modi left a dossier with David Cameron. Avtar Singh Khanda's name is there. It was reported widely in the Indian media. The reason why I wanted to start there is the way Britain operates and the way India operates are two entirely different things. Britain, everything is very secretive. Everything is quite diplomacy. But in India, it appears the Indian media is used as a mouthpiece for the Indian authorities. And therefore, when national journalists asked David Cameron on the 10 about the dossier, they said it doesn't exist. Whereas the Indian media's not just got the dossier, it's naming individuals, naming towns, naming Glasgow. This is important. 2015, 2 years before Jagtar Singh Johal gets picked up. I want to fast forward. Remember that context, that actually Narendra Modi and Ajit Doval had been raising these issues more or less since they came to power with the British government. Fast forward to this year. What Jazz referred to as the threats that Avtar Singh Khanda was receiving really started before the 19th of March in the context of Murtaza Ali Shah. So if you think about this, what happened? On the 18th of March, 1,000 Sikh activists get arrested, picked up across Punjab in the hope to arrest Murtaza Ali Shah. The disappointing thing from an Indian government's perspective, they don't catch him. He gets away. And they know that Avtar Singh Khanda is a close associate. Not many of you will know that his wife, who is from Wolverhampton, this is the wife of Murtaza Ali Shah, Avtar Singh Khanda was the one who arranged their marriage.
His family wanted him to come to the United Kingdom to be in safety. In relation to the targeting of Avtar, the targeting took place long before the High Commission protests. You can see a picture of that up here. There were articles in the Indian press claiming he was a radical and that he was trying to radicalise Sikh youths in the United Kingdom. But that targeting increased following the protest of the Indian High Commission with the flag that was partly taken down on the 19th of March. Lots of the reporting said that he ran the protests or he was involved in taking the flag down, which we say is incorrect, but it really gives a motive behind what happened to him eventually. There were a number of threats to his life following the Indian High Commission protests. This is just a few of them that I've pulled out here. This is from an ex-Indian Army major who said, "This Khanda son, you are finished. The NIA, the National Investigation Agency, will eliminate him." Indian security officials made several calls to his phone. Some of the gentlemen on the panel with me today have listened to those calls, threatening him and threatening repercussions to his family. And then you have the official wanted posters going out from the NIA account over here for people they say that were involved in the protests. Of course, protesting in the United Kingdom is allowed under English law and under the European Convention of Human Rights. And there's been talk in India about protesters here committing offences under Indian law, but of course, being in the United Kingdom, it's English law which must apply. Next slide.
Raises doubt on his passing away. When the incident of Avtar Singh happened in India, I saw an avatar that was sad, that couldn't speak, that was lonely, that was quiet. On one occasion I spoke to him and I said, "What's wrong?" And he said to me, "Nobody is speaking my story." So I asked you, "Will you cover his story?" And I said to him, "What do you mean?" And he said, "I had an interview with a reputable India media. We spoke for an hour, but they decided not to play my story." And I said, "What was your story?" And he said, "I wanted to give a response back to me not being involved in the flag being taken down from the High Commission, and wanted to give my account of my life." At that time I spoke to a reputable British media company, I won't say the name today, and we arranged for an interview for him. Unfortunately, they agreed and then chose not to follow that up. So I remember Avtar as someone who had a story, but nobody wanted to cover that story. Later on, I was meant to go see him in hospital. I didn't believe anything happened to him. They said to me, "He's got cancer." I said, "You don't know what you're talking about." Days went on. I had met him on the Saturday. We spoke again. He was sad, he was quiet. I was meant to meet him on the Thursday morning. We had arranged for a meeting with the hospital staff so I could understand what had actually happened, because I'm a pharmacist. And behold, yes, he passed away. I found out in the morning. Later that day, obviously there were many people that were saying, "Oh, he might have been assassinated." I was like, I don't believe that can actually happen here in England, right? The following day, we had the West Midlands Police. So they came. We sat down with them.